Good evening and welcome to the news at 6 on MITV. I am Jumoke Michaels. President Bola Tinubu on Saturday departed Abuja for Nairobi, Kenya, where he will participate in the 5th Media Coordination Meeting of the African Union, the Regional Economic Communities, the Regional Mechanisms, and the African Union member states. President Tinubu is accompanied by some senior government officials. The presidency says the Nigerian leader, as the chairperson of ECOWAS, will join heads of state and government, foreign ministers of the AU member states, and high-level dignitaries at the media meeting, which will take place on Sunday, July 16. The president will present a report on the status of regional integration in ECOWAS, highlighting actions carried out during the period under review by ECOWAS institutions, member states, the private sector, and other stakeholders to deepen integration through trade, free movement of persons, investment promotion, infrastructure development, peace, security, and stability. Meanwhile, expectations on the ministerial list have heightened as President Bola Tinubu clocks over 40 days in office, while the quest to make the cabinet nominees appears to be in earnest among chieftains of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. This appears to be more so as President Tinubu seems to be putting final touches to the ministerial list. In his report presented from our studios, our correspondent Fatoki Kunle takes a look at the high expectations on ministerial list in the polity.
By law, President Bola Tinubu is required to name his cabinet within 16 days after taking the oath of office on May 29 and transmit it to the upper chamber of the National Assembly, the Senate for screening and confirmation. With 16 days to submit his cabinet list to the National Assembly as recommended by the Constitution, lawmakers and other Nigerians are anxiously waiting for the list of ministers who would help to deliver the president's renewed hope agenda. There are strong indications that the federal parliament was awaiting the ministerial list, with some expressing worry over the delay as they appear not to expect a further delay in the list.
Well, there's a timeline already that have been cast in the act that I think 2 months the president must submit for proper clearance, and I think from now to 2 months time I think the executive will present it to the floor of the house and we'll look into it. So what concerns us most is presenting those names to the floor of the house. Now we'll have to scrutinize and look at them individually to know what the content they have.
There were also strong indications that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Department of State Services, and some security agencies were on the verge of completing their mandatory checks on the list, with the DSS and members of the presidential strategic team already running final checks on the people who had been listed as possible ministers.
And in appointing these people, it would be very, very, very wrong and risky for these people that have been so appointed to just occupy office without having a background check on them called security check. And that security check is to know whether they are found fit and proper, as it were, to occupy the office, particularly that of the political, that of the ministerial office or position. And to that extent, it is quite germane that that test is done, screening is done, or the litmus test is taken into consideration.
Yes, and it is hoped that as the relevant security agencies get the list for their clearance, that they will do a thorough and diligent job in ensuring that only those who are qualified and those who have skilled the screening according to set guidelines eventually get the clearance. This is one of the demands that Nigerians are making from the security agencies to enable President Bola Ahmed Tinubu achieve his dream for the Nigerian people.
While expectations on the cabinet nominees are high in the polity, the presidency and the ruling All Progressive Congress APC said President Tinubu was still within the time frame unlike before when there were delays.
So the president, the buck stops on his table, and he decides when it's fit and proper for him to make his cabinet list known. I can tell you all of those things you've been reading in the media are mere fabrications. There is no iota of truth in all of those things. When the president is good and ready, you will be the first to know about his intentions.
The president is still within the time limit provided by the constitution of the country. We cannot hurry, rush, and do what is not coherent. The president has his team, but again, we're in a political environment where all interests must be carried along. And in carrying these interests along, you must be very careful so that you don't rock the boat.
To ensure the ministerial list is made up of technocrats from the private sector and politicians, Nigerians believe that the country has many competent individuals residing in the country that could serve as ministers, while some are calling an improved women representation in the ministerial list.
We will measure our lapses, our gap as at yesterday, and bringing it to today's leadership or governance, and be able to look at tomorrow what it will bring. But very hopeful. From the beginning, we will know how the end will look like. So the takeoff is very promising, and we are hopeful that women this time around will be part and parcel of leadership at all aspects of leadership in our country.
It's a natural thing. People will always look for positions. People will always look for opportunities. What we can insist upon as Nigerians is that, one, there should be no delay in releasing that list of ministers. I think there is an existing law in the alteration to the Constitution also, that says, within 2 months of assuming office, the president must submit the names. So President Tinubu is able to observe all of these principles. He will be making a great statement about representation, about competence.
Those speculations have heightened about the identities of the ministerial nominees, with bookmakers making permutations about possible appointees. President Tinubu has made it clear that he is committed to a government of competence to put Nigeria on the pedestal of growth and development, and perhaps be a true giant of Africa.
Reactions have continued to trail the call for dialogue with bandits who ceaselessly killed innocent people and destroyed properties in the northern part of Nigeria. The call for dialogue with bandits re-echoed recently when a former governor of Zamfara State, Ahmad Yarima, urged President Bola Tinubu to consider dialogue with bandits to end insecurity in the northwest region of the country. However, a former member of the Federal House of Representatives, Moshood Salvador, has strongly faulted the call for dialogue with bandits, saying that such dialogue is senseless, as according to him, bandits have no respect or value for human lives. He said dialogue with bandits cannot be a way of putting an end to banditry in the northwest of the country. Salvador also advised the federal government to employ strategic measures to combat security challenges in parts of the country.
If this president come, they want to make the government, they want to make the state ungovernable, they start killing people. Is people's blood. We have to end insecurity with security strategy, with security style and method that is appropriate for the problem on ground, that is appropriate for the type of people you want to secure. So we have to, it's not, they are stupid to be saying you have to dialogue with armed robber so that it will stop coming to collect your thing. You are saying that he should not use his bullet. Just come and collect my goods. Don't use your bullet again. So armed robber is getting more. Dialogue with him.
The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdul Karim Chukwu, has said investment and forex scams were the most common financial and economic crimes in the Lagos Zonal Command of the Commission. Chukol said investment, business email compromise, and forex scams, as well as land and property fraud, were most prevalent in the zone. Chukol, who was represented by the commander, Lagos Zonal Command, Michael Wedcast, disclosed these at the opening of a one-day workshop on economic and financial crimes reporting for journalists in Lagos. He said the Lagos Command had received a total of 512 petitions on investment fraud and 876 petitions relating to forex scams. Papers presented drew attention to understanding the new money laundering laws in relation to activities of designated non-financial businesses and professions, investigation journalism, and Nigeria's fight against money laundering, and the new trends in cybercrimes. How not to become a victim.
It is in recognition of these tasks that the Commission commenced a workshop on the economic and financial crimes reporting for journalists in 2022. The program is one of the modest efforts of the Commission to build synergy and understanding with the media. The Lagos Command was one of the beneficiaries of the workshop when it was flagged off last year. Other zonal commands have been added this year to ensure that the media is adequately carried along in our engagements.
As regards this case, but it has been prevailing on minors. And we've had situations whereby minors commit suicide because they don't want their parents to see these pictures. They cannot face their family because of what they've done, probably because of just one mistake. And we've seen cases where a lot of them commit suicide because of this. So it's the trending romance scam in town, and it is very, very serious.
So if you are receiving $10 million comes to your account from outside, you are supposed to report the matter to SCUMO, that is Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering. That's what is called SCUMO. It's in EFCC. It's a department in EFCC under this act. That is the section that regulates the businesses and profession under the Money Laundering Act.
The Lagos state government has announced that Eko Bridge in what's the newly reopened Apogmo Bridge will close for 24 hours on Sunday, 16th July 2023. The closure is for immediate remedial palliative works by the Lagos State Public Works in conjunction with Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, according to the state government. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transportation, Engineer Abdul Hafiz Toriola, made the statement known on Saturday, saying that the 24-hour closure will allow uninterrupted palliative adjustment of the bridge. Toriola, however, confirmed that the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, have been deployed to control and manage traffic around CMS, Marina, Ijora, and other alternative routes on the Lagos Island and mainland. An 8-year-old girl allegedly defiled by one Lekan Suji, who was arraigned last year before a family court sitting in Isabo of Belkuta, Ogun State, on a one-count charge while the trial is still in progress. According to the charge sheet, the suspect committed the offense by defiling the victim and also inserting a blackish substance into the girl's vagina with his finger on June 27, 2022 at Lagboa Village, Kenta Housing Estate, Idiaba, Abeokuta. The prosecuting counsel, Oye Fesobi, had opened and closed the case after calling witnesses and presented some evidences in support of the case. When the trial resumed for the respondent's counsel to open defense, but the court was informed that the girl had died. Magistrate Mrs. E.O. Idowu therefore adjourned the matter till August 3rd for opening of defense.
The child died on Monday, that's just this last Monday. And so we had to come to court to inform the court And so the defense also knows, and whatever needs to be done legally will be done at that point in time. Of course, trial had started. The prosecutrix, that's the victim, the late girl, had given her evidence. Prosecution had closed his case. All pieces of evidence had been done. Doctor had given evidence, police had given evidence. So it was adjourned till today for the defense to open. And unfortunately, she passed on Monday. So that's the situation. She was not sick. She was dressed for school. And she was just supposed to she was told to go and take her water bottle and all that, and she just dropped it. Well, I'm holding a watching brief for the victim.
We are women, and ordinarily nobody is happy. Nobody is happy with what has happened to the victim of the matter. And the group of Solidarity Group has come to court to sympathize with the family of the victim. And we also join them in sympathizing with the family of the victim. So we are not happy. We are not happy. Considering the stage of the matter, opening of defense, and the court has to decide one way or the other. Unfortunately, this defense could not go on because of the untimely death of the victim.
Still in the southwest of Nigeria, the management of the Osun State University has suspended a 100-level student of the institution who was paraded by police for allegedly robbing her victim of over 1 million naira in conspiracy with her male friends. Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Clement, announced the suspension at a press conference organized by the school management. The suspect, who is a student of the university in Ikire Satellite Campus, was alleged to have connived with her male friends and robbed a Lagos-based businessman of over 1 million naira at Ikiro in Osun State.
Ms. Ayante Victory Ehiremen alleged involvement in a criminal act is in violation of her matriculation oath. She has made a written statement which the university has considered alongside the available intelligence reports and other reports. Therefore, exercising the power of the Vice Chancellor of this university, using the authorities of this university, I have therefore decided to act as dictated by law, and therefore Ms. Ayante Victory Ehiremen is hereby placed on indefinite suspension by the authorities of this university in accordance with the regulations guiding studentship, pending when our case will be determined according to the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by constituted authorities.
The lady was able to bring him to come to our house. In the process, the lady and our cohorts arrested him, alleged that he wanted to rape the young lady. He was stripped naked, humiliated. He had to be forced to divulge his PIN number and...
Up next on the news at 6 is foreign news.
Our boss was like, a decent fashion designer only gets home at midnight.
Midway.
Man like Osimhen, Papa just a chop Italian league like Oha.
These are real housewives of Abuja. Those women are fire. What does OJ say again? My relationship with money is Alhamdulillah.
No one tells a story like we do. Showmax, Africa's original streaming service.
Welcome back. 22 people have died, 14 are missing, and thousands have been evacuated in South Korea, according to ministry data, as the third day of torrential rains caused landslides and the overflow of a dam. The Ministry of Interior and Safety said as of 6 p.m., 4,763 people had been evacuated nationwide, while water overtopped the dam in North Xinjiang province on Saturday morning. Local government's evacuation orders covered more than 7,000 people at various times. According to provincial authorities, the tally is expected to rise as more heavy rain is expected on the Korean Peninsula on Sunday, the Korean Meteorological Administration forecast. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has made a surprise visit to Ukraine, offering a show of support for the country in its war against Russia. Yoon traveled to Ukraine with his wife Kim Kyun-hee, following trips to Lithuania for a NATO summit and to Poland. After the two leaders met, Zelensky thanked Seoul for its firm support of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity and the significant political, security, economic, and humanitarian aid it has supplied since the start of Russia's war. Yoon pledged on Saturday to expand the scale of his country's non-lethal military assistance to Ukraine, adding that humanitarian aid will be increased to $150 million in 2023 from $100 million last year. A blistering U.S. heat wave is forecast to intensify this weekend, with warnings issued across the Southwest, with about 27 million people are forecast to experience temperatures over 110 Fahrenheit in the coming days. Heat advisories affected at least 113 million Americans from Florida to Texas to California up to the northwestern state of Washington. Air conditioner use in Texas has topped the state's previous record for power consumption as people try to keep cool. The National Weather Service said the heat is a result of an upper-level ridge of high pressure, which typically brings with it warmer temperatures. The United States is deploying additional fighter jets around the strategic Strait of Hormuz to protect ships from Iranian seizures, a senior U.S. defense official said, according to a news report. Speaking to Pentagon reporters, the official said the U.S. will send F-16 fighter jets to the Gulf region this weekend to augment the A-10 attack aircraft that have been patrolling there for more than a week. Washington's increase in military assets in the region comes after Iran tried to seize 2 oil tankers near the strait last week, the Associated Press news agency reported. The defense official, who spoke on condition of anonymity to provide details of U.S. military operations in the region, said the F-16s will give air cover to the ships moving through the waterways and increase the U.S. military's visibility in the area. We'll take another break and bring you sport news. Welcome back. Arsenal have finally completed the signing of Declan Rice on a long-term contract from West Ham United, with manager Mikel Arteta describing the England international as an exceptional talent. Financial details of the transfer were not disclosed, but British media reported that the fee for the midfielder was £105 million, making it a record transfer between two British clubs. The 24-year-old's transfer fee surpasses the £100 million Manchester City paid Aston Villa for England midfielder Jack Grealish in 2021. Arteta said in a statement that Rice is a player with tremendous ability who has been performing at a high level in the Premier League and for England for a number of seasons now. Edwin van der Sar has been moved to a Dutch hospital but remains in intensive care following a bleed on his brain as his situation remains the same, stable in a non-life-threatening condition and communicative. The 52-year-old former Manchester United and Ajax goalkeeper had been in hospital in Croatia where he was on holiday for just over a week. In a statement released by Ajax, his wife said he was repatriated. The Van der Sar family said Edwin has to remain in the intensive care unit where he will be investigated further, and the family fervently hope he can focus on his recovery afterwards. And finally, talking tennis, Marketa Vondrousova became the first unseeded woman to win Wimbledon in the Open era as the Czech swept to a shock 6-4, 6-4 victory over Tunisia's Ons Jabeur in Saturday's final. The 24-year-old upset the odds on center court to win her maiden Grand Slam title at the second attempt after losing to Ash Barty in the 2019 French Open final. The 9th unseeded champion at the Grand Slam tournament joins Jana Novotná and Petra Kvitova as the only Czech woman to win a Wimbledon title. And that's the news at 6 on MITV. Join us again at 9:30 p.m. for the Primetime News Bulletin. I am Jumoke Michael. Good evening.